Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for One Piece episode 921. This episode finally gave us the official reveal of Komurasaki, and I will admit, for as Will handles it as it is, narratively there is a little bit of an issue in the sense where because she's essentially the woman that's appeared at the beginning of every single episode up to this point, there's not too much of an emotional punch to the pretty much reveal itself. Now, it's also one of those odd moments where even though it lacks a little, the reveal lacks a little weight. The reveal itself isn't necessarily bad either. It's just that we pretty much know what she pretty much looks like. So there's not much to really say about her reveal, I guess you could say. Um, Now, well, other than the fact that we actually learned that Komurasaki is a little bit of a swindler, like as you see in that flashback with that old man, she's pretty like vicious in terms of making money, she'll pretty much she'll swindle pretty much anyone out of their money, and if there's an opportunity to do that, but at the same time as we can see, pretty much largely because of that, it's in some ways she pretty much uses it as a sort of defense mechanism in order to quote unquote prevent herself from getting intimate with customers, I guess. And there is there is in some ways a reason for that. Um, but in terms of her swindling in itself, there are reasons for her actions beyond just being greedy. But there at the same time there is no denying that when it comes to the art of deception, she's basically really mastered her craft. In fact, she's basically really mastered her craft in terms of duping customers out of their money. That's for sure. And her and so yeah, and just everything and in terms of everything in that flashback we pretty much got about Komurasaki. Let's just say, and in terms of her reason for making money this way, there is method to her madness. And it all has to do with who Komurasaki actually is. Everything we pretty much get, we learn of Komurasaki in this episode. It basically all ties back to who she actually is in some ways. And yeah, now we get now. Now let's talk about the bad part of the episode, and I'm sorry to say, or more to the point, the bad character reintroduction of this episode, because, oh god, it's basically Caribou. We basically get reintroduced to Caribou in this episode, and Caribou is basically a character whose relevance to this arc even now I question. Considering his powers, I have a vague idea of what purpose he's gonna serve, but yeah, it's like as a whole, I just hate Caribou. I really do. I have no problem admitting that. I'm sure there are people who are going to, but this guy has served absolutely no fucking purpose in the story whatsoever. Even honestly, even in the manga, Oda's barely done anything with him that could make me say, yeah, he's worth the effort. Yeah, every time he makes a reappearance, it just makes me question, yeah, he's worth the effort to bring him back. But every time he's brought back, he's really not. I don't. So the best I can. And with this arc in particular, I've got a vague idea of what Oda might have in store by bringing him into this arc, but yeah, it's just I'm just hoping that whatever the purpose is, it's going to be worth the effort in order to bring him back. And maybe it's also just that I see that as a whole, I just see absolutely no value in Caribou as a character at all, and think of him as the most annoying in foil in the series to date. Even more annoying than Foxy. Yes, Caribou is that freaking annoying. But the only thing worthwhile about his return in the anime is, and honestly, the one thing I guess I will say to the anime's credit is that the one thing that is worthwhile about his return in the anime is that we get to see those like sides, those pretty much side story, those flashbacks of him, which are basically side stories that were animated into the anime. So that in itself, it was kind of cool, but it was kind of cool in order to see those like pretty much those like Caribou side stories, like cover page side stories from the manga integrated into this episode. But aside from that though, like, yeah, he needs to stay if he's not gonna serve a purpose, then he just needs to stay the hell out of everyone's way. And like I said, I'm going to put my faith in Oda, but in Oda and in the One Piece series, but it's like I've got no idea why he's here. I really don't. And yeah, we officially meet Orochi, or more the silhouette of Orochi with his devil fruit power transformation, or in this case, and as you can see in this case, just from the silhouette, he's got like a Hydra zone type power, which, yeah, and just from the fact that he does have like a Hydra zone type power, that in itself, it kind of carries a whole new meaning nowadays if you're like me and know the backstory of how he usurped the power that was never rightfully his to begin with. But the thing, and one thing that definitely fascinates me even more looking back on this is how much he fawns over Komurasaki and doesn't even have any actual clue of who Komurasaki actually is. Like, it's actually, looking back on all this material, is actually kind of funny to see like how pretty much little that pretty much Orochi actually knows about Komurasaki's background. It's actually kind of fascinating, honestly. Like Orochi himself, I've learned that Orochi himself isn't necessarily dumb per se, but it's fascinating. At the same time, it is fascinating how, with certain situations, how easily he gets duped. Let's put it that way. One thing actually I do have to say when it comes to Orochi's introduction in this episode is the voice actor playing Orochi, and I don't know if that's just a voice that's going to be used when he's in that form, but that was actually not the voice I expected to come out of him. And I don't get me wrong, in a certain way it does fit, but I think because he's just been such a pivotal point of the story in terms of the manga, I don't know, I kind of weirdly expected his voice to be a lot higher pitched than what we got. But I'm not. But at the same time, I'm not gonna hate on it. Like, it is still a pretty good voice for the character. It's just I don't know. It wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting a much higher pitched voice for something like that. Again, I don't know what I was expecting, but yeah, the voice did kind of initially throw me off a bit. But yeah, aside from that, there really wasn't much more to this episode aside from the usual pacing problems. But again, that was helped just from how it flowed. Not as good as last week, mind you, but it was still a good episode. And as I thought, one of the biggest hiccups in the anime is the scenes in the mine. But yeah, that's another thing. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Mr. Crunchyroll. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.